All right, so welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today.
Sounds good.
We are looking at some pretty strong opinions on Christian marriage, and we are going to be referencing a list called 15 Things to Know About Marriage from the Rhythms of Grace podcast.
Right.
This list is going to give us a lot to think about.
I'm sure.
So if you were looking for guidance on marriage within a Christian framework, let's unpack what this list has to offer.
Yeah, right off the bat. It's fascinating how strongly the source emphasizes marrying within the faith.
It does.
It's more than just finding a good person.
Right.
It really stresses the shared commitment to Christ.
Absolutely. The very first point practically shouts, you cannot be in a relationship with a good unbeliever.
Wow.
Stop doing I too know with your life.
Wow, yeah, no mincing words there.
There's no mincing words there. Why is this so crucial to the author?
Well, it seems to stem from the belief that marriage is not just a social contract, but a sacred covenant ordained by God. Marrying another Christian is seen as essential for that spiritual unity and growth.
Okay, so it's about building a life on that shared foundation of faith.
Yeah.
But doesn't that limit the pool of potential partners quite a bit?
It certainly can.
Yeah.
And that's one of the challenges that this viewpoint presents.
Yeah.
The source seems to suggest that prioritizing shared faith is paramount.
Right.
Even if it means potentially waiting longer or having a smaller dating pool.
It's like putting faith at the very top of the priority list when considering a partner.
Absolutely.
And building on that point number 2 really stresses seeking God's guidance in the relationship. It's not just about your feelings.
Right.
It's about discerning God's word on the matter.
That's right.
How do you think people go about figuring that out?
Well, there are various ways that people interpret and seek God's guidance.
Okay. Some might rely on prayer.
Okay.
Seeking a sense of peace or confirmation from God. Others might look for signs or events they believe to be divinely orchestrated.
It's almost like looking for those little nudges or confirmations along the way.
Exactly.
And the source really hammers this point home.
Yeah.
It's mentioned several times throughout the list. Yeah, several times.
But this next point throws a real curveball.
Okay.
It says to skip the talking stage altogether.
Oh, wow.
If there's no clear intention to get married, the relationship isn't serious. Isn't that a bit radical?
It definitely challenges the more casual approach to dating that's common today.
Yeah.
The source seems to advocate for intentionality from the outset,
Right.
focusing on discerning whether marriage is God's plan for the relationship.
So it's about diving right in with the goal of marriage in mind.
Yeah, it seems so.
That seems like a lot of pressure.
It does.
How can you really get to know someone without some level of exploration first?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
The source doesn't explicitly address how to balance that initial exploration with the intentionality it emphasizes.
Okay.
Perhaps it's about open communication from the start.
Okay.
Making your intentions clear and seeking guidance together as you get to know each other.
It's like approaching the relationship with a shared sense of purpose right from the beginning.
I think that's a good way to put it.
And point number 4 adds another layer to this.
Okay.
Warning against secrecy in relationships. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, the source highlights the importance of accountability and community support within a faith-based context. Keeping a relationship secret could be seen as hindering that process.
Okay.
Preventing others from offering guidance or holding the couple accountable to their faith.
So it's about bringing the relationship into the light, so to speak, and allowing that community support to play a role.
Yeah, I like that.
That makes sense. And then point number 5 throws out another thought-provoking statement.
Right.
Common sense isn't enough for a relationship focused on God's kingdom.
Okay.
What do you think the author is getting at here?
This suggests that aligning your relationship with God's will might require going beyond conventional wisdom or societal norms. It could involve making choices that seem counterintuitive or unconventional, but are believed to be in accordance with God's plan.
So it's about trusting in a higher guidance, even if it challenges those common sense approaches.
Exactly.
I'm curious to hear some real-life examples of what that might look like.
Okay, sure. Let's say a couple is facing a difficult financial decision.
Okay.
Rather than simply going with the most financially advantageous option.
Right.
They might pray for guidance and feel led to make a different choice that aligns with their faith.
Okay.
even if it seems less practical on the surface.
So it's about prioritizing faith-based principles even when they clash with what might seem logical or practical in a worldly sense.
I think that's a good way to summarize it.
That's a pretty strong stance.
It is.
And point number 6 dives deeper into this,
Okay.
emphasizing the importance of being with someone who actively prays and lives by the Bible. Why is that so vital in this view of marriage?
The author sees shared faith practices as crucial for navigating challenges and strengthening the spiritual bond within the marriage.
Right.
It ties back to the idea of marriage as a spiritual partnership, where both individuals are striving to live in accordance with their shared faith.
It's about that shared journey of faith supporting each other.
Yes.
In those practices and beliefs.
Exactly. It's about having that spiritual connection as a foundation for the relationship.
And that leads us into points 7 and 8.
Okay.
Which tackle the concept of love.
Right.
The source says you'll ultimately love the right person.
Okay.
But love is also a conscious choice rooted in God's will.
Interesting.
How do those two ideas work together?
It's a nuanced perspective on love.
Right.
While initial attraction might be present.
Right.
The author seems to emphasize that true enduring love develops through deliberate choice.
Okay.
And aligning your relationship with God's plan.
Okay.
It's not just about fleeting emotions, but a deeper commitment rooted in faith.
So it's about choosing to love that person every day, even when it's difficult.
Yeah.
And trusting that God's plan will guide you through those ups and downs.
Precisely, it's about seeing love as more than just a feeling.
Right.
But as a commitment and a journey you embark on together.
And speaking of journeys, point number 9 paints a pretty intense picture.
Okay.
It says marriage is warfare.
It's certainly strong language.
Yeah.
But the author clarifies that the weapons are spiritual, not physical.
Okay.
This likely refers to the internal and external challenges couples face, temptations, conflicts, outside pressures that can test their faith and commitment.
So it's about being prepared to face those battles together, armed with your faith and commitment to each other.
Yeah, I think so.
And points 10 and 13 really emphasize the role of prayer in navigating those challenges.
Yeah, prayer plays a central role in this belief system.
Okay.
It's a way to seek guidance, strength, and unity as a couple.
Okay.
They might be praying for wisdom, protection from temptation,
okay,
or even for God's intervention in specific conflicts.
It's almost like having that direct line to seek support and direction whenever those battle moments arise.
Exactly. It's a powerful resource for navigating the ups and downs of marriage within this framework.
But what about those who aren't married?
Yeah.
Point number 11 offers a reassuring message.
Okay.
Marriage isn't the only path to fulfilling God's purpose.
This is an important point, especially for individuals feeling societal pressure to marry.
Right.
It emphasizes the inherent value and purpose of singleness.
Right.
Suggesting that God's plan for fulfillment can be achieved regardless of marital status.
That's a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about rushing into marriage just because it's expected. It's about trusting in God's timing and finding fulfillment in whatever season of life you're in.
Exactly. It's about embracing your current situation and seeking God's purpose within it.
And point number 12 encourages looking to the Bible and real-life examples of strong Christian marriages for guidance.
Okay.
What kind of lessons do you think those role models might offer?
These examples might demonstrate healthy communication, conflict resolution rooted in faith, and a shared commitment to spiritual growth within the marriage. They provide inspiration and practical guidance for couples seeking to build a strong, faith-based relationship.
It's like having those living examples to learn from and emulate, showing what a successful Christian marriage can look like.
Exactly. It's about having those positive models to inspire and guide you.
And points 12 and 15 go hand in hand, urging couples to seek knowledge and build a strong foundation to prevent divorce.
That's right.
What kind of resources or practices might be helpful in that preparation process?
Couples might engage in premarital counseling, study religious texts together, or participate in workshops that equip them with tools for communication, conflict resolution, and building a healthy and lasting relationship.
So it's about proactively equipping yourselves for the challenges that lie ahead. Rather than just hoping for the best.
Exactly. It's about approaching marriage with intentionality and a willingness to learn and grow together.
And finally, point number 14 states that Satan is angry about marriage.
Oh, wow.
Can you elaborate on that perspective?
This statement reflects a belief in spiritual warfare,
Okay.
where Satan is seen as actively trying to undermine God's plan for marriage. In a couple's life, this might manifest as temptations,
Okay.
conflicts, or external pressures
Right.
that test their bond and their faith.
So it's about being aware of those potential spiritual attacks.
Right.
And standing firm in your faith and commitment to each other. It's like acknowledging that there will be challenges, but facing them head on, armed with your faith and a strong support system.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that marriage, even within this framework, is a journey with its share of obstacles, but also with immense potential for growth, love, and spiritual fulfillment. We've explored this list, deeply rooted in a specific Christian worldview.
We have.
But even for those who don't share those exact beliefs,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways
I think
that resonate more broadly?
the emphasis on intentionality,
Okay.
preparation, and seeking guidance
Okay.
holds value regardless of your religious background when entering a commitment as significant as marriage.
Right.
Taking the time to build a strong foundation,
Right.
learn from others,
Yes.
and clarify your shared values
Yes.
can only strengthen the relationship.
It's like approaching marriage not as a destination, but as a shared journey,
Yeah, I like that.
requiring ongoing communication, effort.
And a willingness to learn and grow together.
And that willingness to learn and grow is crucial.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that no one enters marriage with all the answers.
Right.
And approaching challenges with humility and a desire to learn from each other can be incredibly powerful.
It's about embracing the messiness and imperfection, knowing that in those moments of vulnerability and growth,
Yeah.
true connection and intimacy can flourish.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
I think that's a message that transcends any specific belief system.
Right.
A universal truth about the nature of love and commitment.
It's about seeing challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to deepen your understanding of yourselves and each other.
Exactly. It's a journey of continuous discovery, both of yourselves and of each other, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
So we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have.
From seeking God's guidance to embracing challenges as opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
This list certainly provided us with plenty to contemplate.
It has. It definitely has. It's a reminder that marriage, regardless of your beliefs,
Right.
is a dynamic process that requires that ongoing effort,
Yes.
communication,
Right.
and a willingness to adapt and evolve together.
And this idea of marriage as a spiritual partnership really struck me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
It highlights the potential for shared values and a shared purpose to really deepen the bond between two people. It's not just about building a life together,
Right.
but about embarking on a journey of spiritual growth and exploration together.
That can look different for each couple, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's about finding what works for you and your partner.
Yeah.
Whether it's shared religious practices, acts of service,
Right.
or simply supporting each other's individual spiritual journeys.
Absolutely. It's about finding that common ground and nurturing it.
Right.
Allowing it to become a source of strength and connection within the relationship.
We've explored this list of advice.
We have.
And it's clear that there are some very strong opinions and specific beliefs at play.
Yeah.
But even if you don't subscribe to this exact framework,
Sure.
I think there's a lot to consider here about intentionality, growth,
Yeah.
and the importance of seeking guidance in relationships.
I completely agree, whether it's through prayer, mentors, or simply open communication with your partner.
Yeah.
Seeking wisdom and support can make all the difference in navigating the complexities of marriage.
If you were to write a list of things to know about marriage,
Okay.
what would your top piece of advice be?
Oh.
Something for our listener to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive.
For me, it would be to never stop learning and growing,
Okay.
both individually and as a couple. Embrace the journey, seek guidance when needed, and always approach each other with love, compassion, and a willingness to understand.
What a great point to end on.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Christian marriage. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.
It definitely has. It's a reminder that marriage, regardless of your beliefs, is a dynamic process that requires ongoing effort, communication, and a willingness to adapt and evolve together.
And this idea of marriage as a spiritual partnership really struck me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it highlights the potential for those shared values and a shared purpose to really deepen the bond between two people. It's
Hmm.
not just about building a life together, but about embarking on a journey of spiritual growth and exploration together.
That can look different for each couple,
Right.
right? It's about finding what works for you and your partner, whether it's, shared religious practices, acts of service, or simply supporting each other's individual spiritual journeys.
Absolutely. It's about finding that common ground and nurturing it, allowing it to become a source of strength and connection within the relationship.
We've explored this list of advice, and it's clear that there are some very strong opinions and specific beliefs at play. But even if you don't subscribe to this exact framework, I think there's a lot to consider here about intentionality growth and the importance of seeking guidance in relationships.
Right, I completely agree. Whether it's through prayer mentors or simply open communication with your partner, seeking wisdom and support can make all the difference in navigating the complexities of marriage.
If you were to write a list of things to know about marriage, what would your top piece of advice be? Something for our listeners to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive.
Oh, um, for me, it would be to never stop learning and growing, both individually and as a couple. Embrace the journey, seek guidance when needed, and always approach each other with love, compassion, and a willingness to understand.
What a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Christian marriage. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.